A lot of tasks we do in internet browsers are tedious ones that we have to do, rather than ones we want to do. We waste time and energy as we click, type, copy, and paste, doing the same things over and over and over again. Once you've got your workflows optimized, it would be nice if you could teach an AI agent how to do the tasks you don't want to do, automatically whenever you need it. Hi, my name is Callum, also known as Wanderloots, and welcome to today's video on FlowithOS, an agentic operating system and browser for your desktop, currently in beta. FlowithOS is not just a browser, app, or assistant, but a new, evolving ecosystem that helps you research, plan, and set up your automated tasks all in one place, while learning from your actions to get smarter over time. FlowithOS is an agentic operating system that runs locally, maintaining your privacy without using your uploads for training models, a key consideration whenever I'm looking into agentic AI systems. In today's video, I give an overview of FlowithOS, showing you all of its major features. Then, I give practical examples on how you can use the FlowithOS agentic browser to automate tasks for you, while teaching the AI skills and memories to get smarter over time. Throughout the video, I also give you more context on agentic AI systems and how FlowithOS can help optimize your time and energy. If you find this video helpful, please consider liking, hyping, and subscribing, as your support really does enable me to continue making these videos. So thank you very much. Now let's check out FlowithOS. This is available for both PC and Mac, and it operates as an actual desktop app. And to get started, all you need to do is click download and then install it by dragging it to your application folder. On PC, you just click next and you can go through step by step until it's installed. Once you've got it installed and you've put in your invite code, you get taken to the home page here. So you can see this is the main input bar. This is where you can navigate, search, or use Agentic AI, which I'll explain all of this in a moment. So I thought I would give a very quick overview on the different buttons, showing you what each element on the side does here before I get into some practical use cases and some prompting best tips on how you can get the most out of FlowithOS. On the top left here, we have the option to click on this button here, which takes us to the command center, the home page of FlowithOS, and you can see clicking on that brought up a new browser tab on the left-hand side. These are basically just tabs, like you would have in a typical browser. But what's different is that as soon as we start typing in a search, we get 3 different options on how we can proceed from this point. So the first is to run a Google search. So this is just standard. If we click on that, it will take us to Google and it will search for me, Wanderloots. I can hover over on the left-hand side here and go back to the home page if I want to, go forward, copy the page, or bookmark it. And the bookmarks are stored in this little folder with the star, and you can bookmark any of your tabs just by hovering over it and clicking the bookmark button. So that's pretty standard. That's just running a normal browser, and that's the first option. The second is the option to run a task. And basically what this does is it will allow the agentic AI in FlowithOS to take over my browser for me and run operations. It's pretty cool. You get to basically see it clicking and opening tabs and doing searches and downloading files, filling out information, doing research, compiling reports. There's a ton of stuff that it can do. So I'm going to show you that more in a moment. And I just want to quickly mention that we have the option to toggle between fast and pro mode for the task. So we take a quick look at the user guide for a moment, which is a great place to go if you have any questions on getting started. There's a lot of detailed documentation here. We can see that the fast mode, the goal of the task is to finish as quickly as possible, and it does not use skills and memories, which I'll explain in just a second. And pro mode is the highest quality, so it does step-by-step visual analysis, deep reasoning, referring to skills and memories as needed. So effectively what that means is, if we're running the fast mode, it's just going to quickly go through, click buttons, get information, but it's not going to necessarily use everything it knows about your particular brand style, your workflows, your customizations. That's what happens when you turn on the pro mode, which triggers skills and memories. Skills and memories appear on the side here with this little brain icon. And basically what that means is, for example, and this is the example I'm going to show you today, I created a skill. This is just a markdown file, standard writing format. And basically what a skill does is it provides a series of instructions for the agentic AI on how you want a particular task to operate. So when we're back on the homepage here and we want to run the task, if we're using the Pro version, it will actually go and check to see if there is an applicable skill, and it will reference the instruction guide on how to move forward with that particular task. Similarly, we can have a memory, and the memory is also a markdown format, and we could say, remember that we're dealing with Wanderloots. Remember that Wanderloots brand style is concise information that focuses on deep research. So I can give almost a stylistic instruction as a form of memory so that when I'm running that task here with the pro mode, the AI will go and it'll check to see if there's a skill on how to do it. And it will take a look and to see if there's a memory on what style it should be done in. So these two work together. And in the future, they're going to be able to bring in a knowledge base, but that's not quite available yet. I just wanted to quickly point out the difference between fast and pro because we're going to get into that in a moment. And there's actually something called the teach mode. And I'm excited to show you this because what happens here is rather than having to write out those skills and memories by scratch, you can show the Agentic AI what it is you want it to do and test it out once, and then it will learn from the actions that you took, and it will create its own skills and memories to then go and be able to repeat that action. So the idea here is that you go and do it once, it learns from you, distills it into a reusable skill and memory, and then you can just task the agent to go do that action again in the future. So I'll show you that in a moment when we get into the example. The final core component that I want to show you is the Ask in Canvas mode. And this here, if we click on it, it takes us over to the flow mode. And this is actually currently built in with the browser component of FlowWith. So this is not integrated into the OS itself. So I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want to focus on the desktop application. But the idea here is that the agent will autonomously go and search the internet, pull in information, condense it into documents, and then present you with the output format. And it's all done in this kind of mind map style. So this is a good way for you to build out concepts, ideas, mind maps on what it is you're looking to research and send the agent to go do different tasks. It's doing consecutive searches at the same time as part of this Canvas flow. And then it's going through and creating a summary document that I can review afterwards. I can save as a new node. I can export. So this is a great way for you to do research. There's a few different modes and models that you can do here, so I recommend just exploring and seeing what works best for you. As a quick summary of the major components, the browser makes it easy for you to do any kind of searching that you normally would, and it keeps all the context and sign-ins and everything within this application. So you're able to give the agent access to different accounts that you have to operate on your behalf, and you can choose which ones you want to. The flow lets you do research, create images, videos. It's more of a creation system formatted as a canvas. The bookmarks help you store all the tabs that you're dealing on the side here. And my favorite part, the skill and memory help you set up context for agentic tasks so that the accuracy and quality are improved by the step-by-step process with the skill and the know-how with the memory. But with all that said, let's actually take a look and dive into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sign into my Google account, and I actually created a separate account just to demonstrate, but also because now that I have signed in with Google with my new email address and account, it makes it very easy for me to use the sign in with Google across all of the different components of this browser. I can give the agent easy access to any account that shares that sign in information. And a key element here is that all of the information is local. I think the privacy and security component of giving Agentic AI access to your accounts is very important. And the key here is that all of the keys and logins are encrypted locally, which means that it's stored within the local desktop application. The actual passwords and account information are not being sent to the FlowWith servers. So this also means that all of your browser actions, history, memories, skills, credentials, data, they're all stored locally and they're not synced with the cloud. So that's pretty cool because it means that all of the actions you're taking here, it's all kind of creating this self-contained ecosystem within FlowithOS that will just evolve and improve over time without giving away your private information. So that's always a very important element to me. Also, and I'll show you this in a second, all the actions are logged, so you can actually see what's happening. So you have transparency on the actions that the agent is taking. So just as a tip, like I mentioned, I think it's easy to sign in to the different browsers ahead of time so that the Agentic AI can go to your account directly without it having to try and figure out how to sign in. But I did test it and it can sign in correctly with something like sign in with Google. So that's pretty cool. So now that I have signed in with Google, I thought, why don't I actually test out the teach mode to show you how this is going to work. So if I click on that, it takes me over to the intelligence section, which has the skill and the memory. And if I click on teach mode, I want to see, for example, I want to be able to go and take one of my YouTube videos, like my Obsidian Bookspace video, and I want to create a Pinterest post for it. And normally this is something that's a little bit manual for me. So it'd be nice, for example, to just take the visual that I've created for the Pinterest, give the agent the URL, and have it go extract the description, optimize the description for me, and then create a pin. So that every time I post a new video, I don't have to go create the draft on Pinterest. I can just send the agent to go do it for me in FlowithOS. So let's try that as teach mode. So one thing to keep in mind as just before I actually click go is if we go back to the FlowWith docs for a moment, they have some tips on how to improve your prompting. So here's the main prompt pattern that works. We want to give a location, which is where the agent is going to operate and where it should store results. The task, the actual action we want it to take. The criteria, which are the rules for quality and scope of that task. and the deliverable, the final output on what we're looking for. So the example they give is scan product hunt for today's top #1 product, review screenshots and descriptions to judge investment potential, create a concise report in a new Google Doc. So the location is product hunt in Google Docs. The task is find product, review visual and textual materials. The criteria is the top one today, and the analysis must reference screenshots and descriptions. And the deliverable is a Google Doc with a concise report. So that way the operating system can see where to go, what to do, how to evaluate success, and what to produce. So the key here is prompt engineering. We want to be explicit because the more clarity we can give the AI, the better it's going to be able to perform and the more repeatable it's going to be able to do that action. So I'm just going to give it a little context to start here with those 4 principles in mind. And to be honest, I'm not sure how much you need to do this ahead of time, but in my experience, it's always best to give more context at the beginning, more clarity on the goal you're looking for, and that will just help the AI perform better. So the location is Pinterest and YouTube. The task is a draft pin created based on a provided image using the title, URL, description of the YouTube video optimized for Pinterest, constraints, and SEO. The criteria is that it must conform to Pinterest best practices and SEO standards, and the deliverable is a draft pin not published awaiting human approval. So this is called human in the loop, where I'm not telling it to do something autonomously, though I could, but I want to see how it does before it actually clicks publish. And I also want to know that this could be done for any social media platform, because you can just give FlowithOS access to your social media account and it could prepare drafts, it can review your posts, it could review your analytics. There's a lot it can do. But let's click start and see how it goes. And we can see that it's operating with this learn mode where it's got the little animation over the brain. So it's being recorded effectively now. So I'm going to go over to Pinterest and you can see navigate Pinterest. Then I'm going to go here, click create, and you can see here it's learning. Oh, click create pin. Now that I'm here, I'm also going to drag and drop the image. And a key here is that in Pinterest, you have to add the image first before you can start adding the title and everything else. The order of this matters. Now I'm going to go over to YouTube, click on the book space. Then I'm going to go copy the URL, go back to Pinterest, add the link, back to YouTube, copy the title, copy some of the description. You can see that the description's too long. So this is a key element here. Will it be able to recognize that the description is too long? And there we go. I've added in all the information here. So now I'm going to click complete. We can see here that the OS empowering has completed. We can choose what outcome we want. The Agentic AI has learned different skills based on what I just did here. So let's click generate. Cool. So the agent has learned. So you can see the preset here is now developed. So I can click save and test. So you can see it automatically filled in the information here for me to test this out. And I'm actually going to attach the image here because at the moment it struggles a little bit with going to pull images from elsewhere, though that is a feature they're going to be bringing in at some point. So now I have the description, I have the clear tasks on what it's looking for. Here's the context. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to click run. So this is pretty cool. Just a quick reminder to please like and subscribe if you're finding this video helpful, as I appreciate it a lot. Also, since FlowithOS is currently an invite-only beta, I have 20 invite codes that I'm going to give to the first 20 people that leave a comment in this video sharing what they're hoping to use this tool for. Now let's keep exploring. We can see that the agent is now working on the side here with the task. So we can see here that we have this glowing box around this browser. This means that, and on the side here, we can see there's a glowing box as well, that the agent is currently operating. So you can see over here, it just collected insights, the video title, the description, and it created a new document actually within its short-term memory here. And now it's moved over to Pinterest. So you can click here. So it's gone and it's opened up the page to the new Pinterest draft. We'll see if it's able to upload the oh yeah, there we go. It just uploaded the image. So I'm not doing anything right now. You can see on my mouse that I currently do not have access to click here. I can double click and interrupt. And I mean, it's interesting. It seems to have slightly hallucinated the future of AI in healthcare, which I can always interrupt here. I can say, no, there we go. So I just gave it some feedback here saying that's not the correct title. And it went in, double checked the YouTube video, pulled in the information and updated the title and the description. So I'm just giving a little more feedback saying, oh, the title that you pasted in is too long. You have to decrease it. So the idea here is that it's not going to be perfect on the first go, but each time we do this, it will learn from the user. I will take the base prompt that I put in there, basically the skill, and I'm going to create a new skill here that brings in what ends up working. So for example, I'll include extra context like ensure you're copying the correct video title, ensure that you're using only the 800 characters in the description. I can put these limitations in to explain to the AI, oh, hey, this is how you need to operate. And that's where the memories come in and the skills come in. So the goal is not to have this be perfect on the first go, but to iterate a few times at the beginning until it's able to reproduce exactly what you're looking for. So yes, it might have a little bit of upfront effort for you to train it, but once it's trained, in the future, ideally, what we'll have to do is just drop in a new image and a new URL, and it will go create all of this Pinterest draft for me, which might save me 10 or 20 minutes every time I do this. And then I can have a whole suite of skills on the side here for every different social media that I post to. Any kind of repeatable task that I have, there's going to be some combination of skill and memory that together enable the agent to be able to operate autonomously to save me time and energy. Rather than just having the AI go through and do this for a second, why don't I pause it for a moment? And I'm going to go create a new skill. I'm going to paste what the AI had originally gained in terms of the format from the teach mode. And now I would add a couple limitations here. I can go through the steps and figure out where did it work and where didn't it work. I can recalibrate it a little bit. And then hopefully the next time I run it, it will be able to do it autonomously. I'm not going to spend too much time going back and forth here, but I have been able to tweak it in different circumstances and it improves over time. So it's pretty cool to see how the skills and memory get better as you go. So I can rename the skill here. And now if I go to search something, if I go back here and I say, please create a new Pinterest pin based on the uploaded image and the provided URL. Now that I have that saved as a skill, if I click run task, we'll be able to see that the little brain icon is operating on the side where it's matching to the relevant skills. So that's kind of a cool, right off the bat, indicator on, hey, the prompt that you gave is something that's being recognized as a skill that you have in your skill library. So let's enable that skill, figure out how we can run that task, and then get going. And every time you run the teach mode, it's going to create that new template for you that you can then run through and test. And also, just keep in mind, this is in beta. There's probably going to be some glitches, but it is getting better all the time. I recommend being patient and just trying it out, seeing what works best for you. Maybe you can post automatically to Pinterest, to Substack, to X, to Instagram. You can start to automate some of your actions. You could have it go do research for you. For example, I could say, investigate the latest updates to Agentic AI and the technologies that power them. Prepare me a report as a Google Doc and then share it with me via email. The sources must be academic papers or credible research websites. And then I can just click run task. And now it's going to go and start to do that. It's going to look to see if there's a relevant skill. It's probably not going to find one because I don't have any related to research. And it'll go through and it will actually be able to go to my Google Docs and it should create a document here for me based on all of the research that it's doing. So you can see it's going through right now and it is actually researching the Nature article that came out just over a month ago. So you can see that it is pulling relevant research. Oh, it says it's behind a paywall, so it's not able to do that. So this is where actually, for example, it's a good point. If I had a Nature subscription, I could sign in to the Nature subscription and it would be able to give access to the agent as it's going through and doing research. And a lot of AI systems, you might get stymied by a paywall, but because we're dealing with our actual accounts here and we're just giving clickable control to the agent, we can get access to information that we've already paid for. So this can take a little while, but the cool part is that it's all happening behind the scenes. So I can go and work in other areas, do different kinds of research. I could go for a walk, and when I get back, I'll have this report that's been emailed to me. So the idea here is that it's not about speed. Over time, the more you have your skills and your memories grow, it's more about accuracy and quality. Great, so it has now finished its research and it's actually went and created its own new Google Doc. And now it's sitting inside Google Docs and it's about to prepare the report for me. Oh, and here we go. It's actually starting to write. So this is all happening in real time right now. It's taking all of its research with the specific referenced sources that it got the information from, and it's creating this Google Doc for me. So what's also cool is, of course, anything on this page that is clickable, draggable, movable, typable can be operated by the AI. So it could click share. I could give a list of people that I wanted to share with based on my contacts list. So I could say, oh, I just did this research. Can you please share it with person A, B, and C? And then we'll have this working doc so we can have multiple people working on it. All of that took about maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So I was able to just click go. It was running and doing its own research, creating the report. So you can see that it's actually taking screenshots to understand the exact position on, oh, where was this tab? Pretty cool how it's actually using vision to figure out how it can operate. There we go. It just got to the sharing stage. So now it was going to go copy this and send it in the email. But I think you get the gist on how this works. And then when you're done, like we just did that research, I can go over to the tasks tab and I can click the three dots and I can click transform to preset. And what that does is it adds it to the homepage here where it brings in this particular type of standardized format for that type of prompt. So this is where tasks really become reoccurring, because now I can change this if I want to, or I can click on it and it automatically brings in the particular prompt that I had that worked in the past. I can just add the topic and the recipient email and it would go through and rerun this same thing, but with the new topic and the new research. So the idea is that over time, you're going to build out a suite of presets, tasks, and general just automations that anything you could click, drag, or type in the internet, you can have the agent do for you. So that's pretty cool. If you ever have any questions, you can go click on the bottom book on the corner here and it will explain a little more on how the different features work, so you can look into it. I also recommend checking out the user guide if you have any questions, as it goes through different components on how you can use it better, different use cases. But I just wanted to quickly go through a few key takeaways here. The first is that this is a personalized autonomous system. And what I mean by that is the type of tasks that I do are going to be different than the types of tasks that you do. How you want this agent to operate is going to be up to you based on your day-to-day. So the only real way to figure out how it's going to work for you is to try it, to test it out, see what you're doing over and over again, and then try experimenting to see if you can improve the skills in the memory file to augment those tasks so that it gets better over time. There is a self-learning agent built into it that's explained a little bit more on the agent guide below, but the idea is that the agent will get better over time the more you use it. I also really like that there's a lot of visual workflows with the flow component, the canvas. I like that you're able to control your own skills and memories, and that all of this is happening with local encryption so that you're not giving away your data to the FlowWith servers, and you can sign in yourself without having to provide any passwords and usernames. And just a final reminder that FlowWithOS is in beta, so there are going to be some bugs. Things might not work on the first try, but they are updating it all the time, so I recommend just testing it out and seeing how it goes. You can also customize the look of the system here by just dragging the circle around, so you can change the color if you want, which is kind of fun to personalize your browser. You can also invite and earn, so you can connect to X and then you get some more credits, and you also get a certain number of invite codes that you're able to share with other people. If I've given you an invite code, please consider checking out the comments in the video to see if there's someone who has commented asking for one and doesn't have it yet, because you might be able to help them out. Each of us are going to have unique cases on how we want to use agentic AI systems, which is what makes it so powerful. The best way to figure out what's going to work best for you is to experiment, to test it out and recalibrate and build on what you're trying until you find what works exactly for you. FlowithOS is in beta, so it's evolving rapidly. New features like the Teach mode are coming out all the time, so I recommend keeping an eye for updates as more features get rolled out. You can download the desktop app at try.flowwith.io. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, as your support helps me far more than you know. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.